This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sophia Yvette.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of a veterinarian? Well, one may be closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Dr. Genine with Pet Vet 365. Dr. Genine, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Sophia. How are you?
I am also doing great. Now, we're excited to learn all about you and your business. Can you start off by telling our listeners just a little bit about your company?
Well, Pet Vet 365 is one of the first 100% fear-free certified veterinary hospitals. Our main focus is to reduce anxiety, not only just for your fur baby, but for you as well, so that you can bring your fur baby to the veterinarian. Our living room style setup is totally different from a regular vet hospital. They love it the minute they walk in the door, and I guarantee that you will too.
Wow. So with all this comfort in mind for your veterinary practice, how did you originally get into this business?
Well, I've been practicing for 18 years. And so I've certainly started off from being just in private practices. I worked for corporations. I actually did some research as well, and then got into owning my own hospital. And so what I wanted to do differently was make sure that it is a place not for just the pet to come and want to come, but it's a place where people feel comfortable bringing their pet to. And so with this company, their focus is making sure that everyone's fear and anxiety is completely reduced. And we want to actually visit our doctor. Doctors can be scary, right? So if our pets, which can't talk to us, and believe me, they are talking, just not in English. If they don't want to go to the doctor, then you don't want to take them. So with the way we've decorated our hospitals, every suite is a dog or cat suite. It's set up like they're visiting their pet parent's friend. We've got pheromones in the room. We've got treats, because who doesn't love to eat? That releases their endorphins, right? We've got the TV that's relaxing in their form. They've got a couch to jump on. Hopefully they don't take on many bad habits and then start jumping on your couches. But there are things that make them feel comforted. And there's rugs, things that are soft in the room. We can even treat the patient in the room right next to the owner most times, because they just feel at home.
Wow, Dr. Genine. Now, where does your heart for running a company of this style come from?
Well, of course, I've got some fur babies in my home. And I always wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable, like if they were in their house, if they were to go to the vet. It's a little different when you have your own fur babies, right? Because we try to do our own treatment in our home, and we think that, that's going to be where they should have their treatment because it's comfortable. But why can't a hospital feel like that? And so that was the backstory to making sure that if I own my own hospital, that I got with the company that actually provided that what's called a fear-free setting. I know that term is not normal as far as understanding what that means when we have a fear-free certified hospital, but it plain and simply means we are reducing anxiety for everybody. And stress-free is something I know everybody knows.
Oh, yes. Now, what is the main myth or misconception you come across on the day-to-day in your industry?
Well, some of the misconceptions are that dogs or cats may not need to go to the vet until they're sick. And just like us, we've got to have our checkups yearly. We've got to get our teeth cleaned, for example, twice a year. And that's with all the brushing and the flossing and things that we do on ourselves. Now, your pets aren't going to let you brush twice a day. They're not going to let you floss their teeth. So the misconception is that even though they have teeth, they don't need to go get their teeth cleaned, or they don't need their annual checkups or twice a year checkups. And they actually do. And so my goal is to make those checkups when they're sick or when they're healthy, again, stress-free for you and for your fur baby. And I want to make sure that you remember this hospital versus any other hospital. It's going to be completely different.
Now, Dr. Genine, does the frequency of how often the pets need to go to the vet or go to the hospital change based on the type of breed?
Breed, no, not exactly. I would say more so it's related to their life stage. So certainly we see puppies or kittens like we would see babies often, right? They come in, they get their vaccines, then they get their booster vaccinations. So we see those kiddos a lot more often. When they get to be adults, which is about between the year of 1 and 7, we don't see them as much, but they still need at least an annual checkup. Certainly if they've eaten something in the backyard they shouldn't have, they'll come in a bit more often. But then when we see them again as seniors after the age of 7, they come in often because their life stage is different. Things don't work as great as they did when they were younger. So I would say it's more so based off of the stage of life versus the breed.
Now, switching gears for a second, we know marketing is the heart of every business. Who are your target customers or audience? And in terms of marketing, how do you attract them?
That's a hard question because this is one thing they don't teach you in vet school. It's about grassroots efforts, things like this, talking to your neighbors through podcasts. And I will say veterinary medicine had to really get down with telemedicine during the pandemic because it's just more of a word of mouth profession. So it's a lot of making sure we make the connections even through virtual ways. So I get out, whether it's in the street walking to talk to my partners, groomers, boarders, anyone else that owns a pet, loves a pet, or likes a pet. That's my connection. That's my target audience. And so at some point, even if you don't have a pet now, you might want a pet. You might have seen someone with their pet and saw that interaction and said, hey, that's something that I would like to have. So there are people that may not have a pet, that want a pet. All of the ones that I see in my everyday walk are my target audience. Now, the marketing strategy, like I said, it gets really creative. It can be a number of ways. I just make sure I'm open to trying them all.
Hmm. Now, have you ever thought about having your own podcast?
I have not. I have been on several different ways. Of course, throughout my career, I've talked to people about mentoring students, talking about vet medicine as a whole, talking about what things to do with your pets and what not to, things around the holidays. But I've never actually tried to host my own. I'll have to probably figure out if that's something I end up doing at another phase in my life. I'm always changing gears.
Well, Dr. Genine, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember today about Pet Vet 365.
One very important thing I want you to remember about Pet Vet 365 is that it is the only fear-free certified animal hospital that has the living room style setup like your home in our location. I want you to visit us. We're at 8445 North Beltline Road in Irving. And please just stop in for a visit just to see what it's like. I'm open to it. My team's open to it. I want you to get a feel for what it should be for your pet's visit at the vet.
And where can our listeners go to learn more about Pet Vet 365?
Well, please follow us on Facebook at our Facebook page, Pet Vet 365 Dallas. Certainly, like I said, stop by the hospital. You can give us a call. Our phone number is 469-912-2112. My team is ready to answer any questions, even if you don't have a pet that comes to see us. We'll make sure we try and get your questions answered and get you in for a visit.
Well, Dr. Genine, I really appreciate you being on the show today. We wish you and your business the best moving forward.
Thanks so much, Sophia. I appreciate you guys. And make sure you come and stop by our hospital. Have a great season.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfrisco.com. That's gnpfrisco.com. Or call 469-221-9345.